Let's see what's today. Today's Thursday. And I just wanted to check in and say hi and ask you what's up and, hey. So tonight I went to Spectrum, which is the GSA here on Ball State campus, and it was really cool. It was really fun. We played charades, but which I'm apparently terrible at. But I got two really hard things. I got that's what she said. But I got Rick Perry, and I got Barbie. And speaking of Rick Perry, let's talk about the Strong ad. If you have not seen the Strong ad, you've been living in a bubble. Or you don't pay attention to politics. No, you're living in a bubble. Because even people who don't pay attention to politics still know what the Strong ad is. It's basically him equating gays in the military to not having religious freedom in the country and kids not being able to celebrate Christmas in school. And we were talking about this at the meeting because it was like a current event and stuff. And so we were talking about it. And BT Dubs, Hawaii, just legalized civil unions. So now gay people can get married in Hawaii like everybody else. Kind of. They don't have the same rights as marriages, but it's a step in the right direction. I'm hoping one day it'll be marriage too. Hawaii does everything different than everybody else. Seriously. But yeah, so we were talking about his Strong ad. And we were having reactions to it, and one guy raised his hand. He's like, I don't know about you guys, but during Christmas, I'm usually not in school, so I don't know how we can't celebrate Christmas in school because, we're on break. And I was like, that's a really good point. I've never heard anybody do that. But, okay, I just wanted to give my reaction to this ad because I think it's ridiculous, first off. My second point, besides the fact that it's ridiculous, I'm going to explain my first point. It's ridiculous not only for that point that we're not in school during Christmas. We get out to almost 2 weeks before Christmas starts, And so, especially college gets out at least 2 weeks before Christmas. Some high schools don't get out till the Friday before, but still that's like a week. Like this year, that was a week and a half before Christmas. It's usually like the Friday before, or sometimes even the Wednesday before. Some schools just go half week that week. But he's like, I'll link it below so you can watch it, even though I don't want to give it any more views than it has, but I will link it below, just because if you haven't seen it. I may link it below. I may forget. So if I do, just search Rick Perry Strong, and it'll be on there. Basically, he's saying that gays are allowed to serve in the military, so our kids should be able to openly celebrate Christmas. And I'm like, okay, kids can openly celebrate Christmas. I don't know about you guys, but at my high school, if we, especially in choir, if we sung Christmas music, no one really gave a shit. If we went down the halls humming Christmas carols, no one really cared. If we told people Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or something to that effect, no one cared. Especially, even the people who didn't celebrate Christmas. Like, I have a Jewish friend, Sarah, and I love her. I love you, Sarah. She was my prom date, and I love her. But, she doesn't really, I've never seen her get offended at people telling her Merry Christmas. I don't know if she takes offense to this. And Sarah, if you're watching this, please comment and tell me if you do take offense to it. Because if so, then I'll stop telling you Merry Christmas. And start telling you Happy Hanukkah because you get 8 days of presents. I mean, would it really be so bad to not be Christian? You get 8 days of presents. From a materialistic view, that's pretty awesome. But I'm just saying, which is my YouTube tag. That's my YouTube name. But they're two things that don't interact with each other. They're like red and black. Red and black don't interact with each other unless you're playing cards. I mean, come on. They're too social. He's making a war on religion a thing when Obama doesn't have a war on religion. I mean, religion has no place in politics. He's abusing his religion right now, trying to get the Christian vote. And I think that's ridiculous. So many people are going to take so much offense to your ad rather than offense to gays in the military. I don't know about you, but gays have always been in the military. Okay? Gays have always been in the military. It's just now they can tell people they're gay. If you haven't seen a gay in the military who doesn't have what Glee has termed the gay face, if you've seen that episode, Watch, the channel is called Are You Surprised? And it's, a gay guy in the military, and he comes out. And it was viral. Like, that video was viral. And I watched all of his other videos, too. And he's pretty cool. He seems like a nice guy. Now he's doing a bunch of how-to videos, and so it's kind of boring. But his older videos are pretty cool. I think his YouTube star just went away. I think it faded. He's very cute, though. And so, if you are another gay in the military, hit him up, because he is single. As the best of my knowledge, he is single. I can't believe I'm trying to pimp all their YouTube people. But yeah, so I find it ridiculous that he's equating gays in the military to a war on religion that no one even knew was happening, except for Rick Perry, apparently. Apparently, Rick Perry is the smartest person in the world. He's an idiot, and if you haven't seen the ad, watch it, and then you will know exactly how stupid he is. Another person we talked about was Rick Santorum, who, like, there's so many words to describe Rick Santorum, and smart and tolerant are not two of them. I'm sorry. I don't usually bash people, but he's such an awful person. And, like, he has a very anti-gay agenda, but he also has a very anti-straight agenda. So if you're straight and watching this, he has a very anti-straight agenda, and I say this with 2 points. I say this with actually more than 2 points, but, like a few very big points. And if you really want to know more about it, search Dan Savage comments on Rick Santorum on YouTube, and he has done, like, a lot of interviews explaining Rick Santorum's views and how they are actually anti-straight and not anti-gay. First, he's completely against sodomy, which is also oral sex. So if you're a straight guy, you can't get blowjobs anymore. If he's president, he's going to outlaw sodomy, which makes it so you cannot get blowjobs. Every time your wife goes down on you, it's going to be against the law. Even if you're happily a straight married couple, you just enjoy oral sex, against the law. He's also, like, against divorce, against sex outside of marriage. He's completely for getting rid of benefits for non-married couples. Like, so if you're one of these people, like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, who have kids outside of wedlock, or like my brother, like my sister and her husband, who I call my brother. So if I ever say my brother and my sister and their child, I mean like my sister and my brother-in-law, but I call him my brother because he's basically been my brother since I was 12, so he's my brother. So, they had a child this past, like, a year ago. She just turned 1, actually. I always say this past January, but she turned 1, like, a week and a half ago. And, they had, because of new laws trying to discriminate against gay people, since they were not married when she had the baby. They got married a few months later. But since she was not married when they had the baby, they had to go take a $300 paternity test to prove that my brother was the father. Because of the new laws in Indiana discriminating against gay people. Because it's like it has a whole clause about children and paternity. And it was trying to keep gay fathers from influencing their children into becoming gay. So it's kind of ridiculous. Even if you sign that little slip that says, yes, I am the father, and you sign the birth certificate, you still have to get the paternity test within 90 days. Or you will have to file for joint custody and go through a whole bunch of shit. So that's where all their money went, right after they had a baby. And my brother's a mechanic. He doesn't make a lot of money. You know, right after they had a baby, this is where their money went. And I find that's another social issue that I'm not even going to get into right now. I will talk about kids later. But he's completely ridiculous and judgmental, and I urge everyone not to vote for them. I urge everyone to vote for Obama. He's doing a pretty decent job. He got Don't Ask, Don't Tell out of there. He got an anti-bullying law happening in Congress right now, and I think it's actually passed. I'm not sure if it's passed or not. You know, he's very concerned. He speaks at HRC every year, and he's very concerned about the LGBT community. If you've seen Hillary Clinton's speech, a lot of it is about improving policy in America and improving policy between nations on LGBT issues. I mean, she makes a great point of what could happen if these people are denied their rights. Then, you know, businesses won't be made because gay people can't get loans. Because in some countries it's illegal to be gay. So if you are gay, you're a criminal, and then if you go to jail for it, and then you get out of jail, you can't get government loans because you're a criminal. So businesses won't be started by gay people. The economy will suffer. Think about gay marriage. I mean, come on. How much money is going to be spent on gay marriage? Think about that. If so much money is being spent on straight marriage right now, think about what could happen if you triple that number of couples who want to get married because you legalize gay marriage. And you know what? You know why they're defending DOMA? Let's talk about DOMA for a second, which is the Defense of Marriage Act, which is something that Congress passed a few years ago under Bush. And I think it was under Bush. It might have been the last few years of Clinton. It was in the early 2000s. Late 90s, early 2000s. I don't know the exact year. But they passed it, and basically it says that gay marriage, even if it's legalized in one state, cannot be recognized on a federal level, and so you have to file your taxes separate. You know if they got rid of DOMA? DOMA's unconstitutional because the Article 4 of the Constitution of the United States of America says that any law made by one state has to be recognized by another state. So, take for example, I'm going to use a straight couple as an example. If me and who's a guy friend? Me and my friend Jake, who's one of my best guy friends. So if him and I got married in Indiana and then moved to Nebraska, we would not have to get remarried when we got to Nebraska. That being said, if we got divorced in Nebraska, we would not have to move back to Indiana and get divorced here too. Because Article 4 makes it so that every state has to recognize every other state's laws. Does that make sense? That makes sense, right? Think about how, if you're married and you move to another state, it's not a big deal. You don't have to redo your paperwork. If you're gay and you get married in New York and you move back to Indiana, it's not recognized because of DOMA. DOMA is unconstitutional because it annuls a part of the Constitution. Therefore, it's unconstitutional. It can't be constitutional and conflict with the Constitution. That makes no fucking sense, right? So, yeah, so that makes perfect sense. So that's why they're defending DOMA. That's why the Republicans don't want DOMA to go away so badly. It's because if it does, then gay marriage, there's no more issue of gay marriage. Because gay marriage will be legal in every state if they get rid of DOMA. And so there will be no more fight. Because if I wanted to marry a woman, I could just go to New York, get married, move back to Indiana, and it be legally recognized. And they couldn't do shit about it. Even though we have a constitutional amendment. No, we have a law. We don't have they're trying to get a constitutional amendment. In, 2014, they're putting it up to a vote, I think. 2014, they're putting it up to a vote, because that's the next congressional vote. For state Congress, not for government, big government Congress, not for federal Congress. So they're putting it up for a vote for a constitutional amendment in Indiana. So, there would be no more issue of gay marriage. It's just that you could not get gay married in Indiana. You'd have to go somewhere where it's legal and then come back. Getting married in Canada doesn't count because that's another country. So that's a whole different issue. Even though marriages from other countries are still recognized when you come to America, you don't have to get remarried if you have a marriage license. So that's a whole other issue. That's something else that DOMA does, is that it annuls any same-sex union performed outside of America. And so, if I went to Canada and got married to a woman, it would not be valid once it came back to Indiana, even though we have a marriage license from another country, and usually those are recognized by the United States government. So, yeah, I find it all ridiculous, and I cannot believe in 2012 we are debating this shit. I had prayed and prayed and prayed that by 2012, by the time I was an adult, by the time I can make my own decisions and possibly wanted to get married, because a lot of people in my family get married very young. So, by the time I possibly wanted to get married, I was hoping that it wouldn't be so bad. But it's still very bad in America for LGBTQIA people, which is lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning, ally, intersex people. It's still very bad. Like, the allies don't have it as bad, I think. I don't know. If you're an ally, I'd really like to hear from you. You know, make a video response, comment, send me a message. I'd really like to get your point of view. But yeah, so that's what we talked about. And I find most of what the government is doing on LGBT and social issues kind of ridiculous. And I wish we could change it. And I wish I could just become a senator so I could change it. But I don't think that I'm cut out to be a senator. I'm going to work for HRC one day, the Human Rights Campaign. And I'm going to change this world because it's just not working. So those are my political views right now. Once we have a few more votes, like I think we're doing Virginia next. Could be wrong. We're doing a few more. There's like 3 or 4 more states that are doing it. And so I will get back to you on my reactions to those results. But yeah, so let me hear about your day. Let me hear what's going on in your life. I really like feedback, so positive feedback. I don't really allow negative feedback. Constructive criticism is good. However, if you're just going to be negative, you should just get the hell out. Because I don't deal with that shit. I don't deal with it. And I will see you guys later. And I'm sorry I drowned on for so long. It's like 16 and a half minutes right now. So, bye.